I'm Chuck, and you're you. Welcome to the fucking Defenders of Kobold. We're here to play some more Death's Reformation, a Zweihander campaign. Last fucking episode, the party, they slayed Baba Yaga. They went and recovered in town a little bit. Joe's character is dead. But the NPC Leo Greyfire and Jake's character Felix, the Pumpkin King, they were both resurrected through the power at the Amber Temple. That was Tyler sneezing, by the way. They can't see you, so waving doesn't do any good. They were all resurrected by the power of the Amber Temple. So Joe's character, Brian, is the only character who died and stayed dead. Hey, one crit. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, just thanks for coming by, man.
He called us sluts.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
So what else? We wrapped it up with the party. They got an invitation from the king for dinner, an audience with the king. And so we're going to pick up with the party arriving. Joe, put your microphone on. With the party arriving.
It's probably loud.
Yeah. With the party arriving at the king's castle, and we're gonna pick it up from there as Joe attempts to put a microphone on. Joe, what are you doing?
I'm good at things. All right.
Good job, Joe.
Cool.
And what else? Is that it? We're gonna pick up there. Joe's new character is gonna get introduced here pretty early tonight. I don't know. That's fucking it. We're doing shots for rerolls. I'm doing shots just out of my pure enjoyment.
I haven't brought our guest for the night.
You haven't. So why don't? Okay.
Yeah.
Dan's getting up.
It's okay.
You should. Why don't you do that so we can get everyone's face reaction on camera?
Oh shit! All right, hold on.
I'm scared.
What is he doing back there? It was hiding in his rectum. That's what all that noise was.
He's got a lot of shit up there.
It's like a fucking
janky metal up there.
It's like a fucking junk drawer of a human body.
Oh no!
It's just like Bender.
You don't know how many pairs of scissors he's got in that thing.
Enough.
Take us back to the group shot.
It's the group.
Here's us.
Sorry.
And then Dan, why don't you introduce everyone to our shots for reroll?
It is Grey Goose tonight.
I don't know what that is.
Ooh,
Premium vodka.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Of all the vodkas out there, it's one of the better.
It's one of them.
Yes.
It doesn't taste like drain cleaner.
We picked the wrong one then.
I doubt that.
You should have gotten the McCormick.
No,
God,
that'll
no.
be fine, Joe.
God,
Just
no.
I actually
remember to
like
take a double
McCormick.
shot.
I hate
sorry.
dying after I drink McCormick.
I drink McCormick straight out of the bottle. I don't even need a chaser. It's
How do you
the only liquor I can
do
that
the
to.
next day?
Oh, terribly.
See,
You know exactly how well I do the next day.
That's part of the
because
thing.
that's what I did back when I used to work for you.
Just a heads up, everybody. These shot glasses are deceptively
are
large.
specifically one regular shot glass.
They're
So
not.
fill it to the brim.
They're not.
It is.
You fill about half.
No, don't fill half. Fill it to the brim.
You can fill it to the brim if you want to, but
I feel like
that's a double shot.
It's not. It's one shot.
that's only like 2.5 or 3 ounces.
You see? He agrees with me.
Yes, and this is
Rectum,
one
yeah.
shot.
We talk about rectums quite a
1
bit.
fluid ounce.
Here, one crit. Damn near killed him. So why don't we go through... I'm Chuck, as always. We're going to go through and introduce everyone. Joe, you can just say you're Joe, because we don't know who your character is yet.
Yeah.
And we'll do the introduction of your character when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
You take it first.
Well, I'm Jake, and I play a fellow by the name of Felix Hunsen, who also goes by the name Jan Knockingeroost, and also by the moniker The Pumpkin King. He is a vigilante and a slightly demented man.
True that. How many times has the Pumpkin King died?
Twice. And each time he comes back a little bit more wrong.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Next.
I'm Chris, and I play Francis Bark. He is, he's a guy that's very learned, studies the Bible a lot, not because he's religious, but because everyone else is, and he doesn't want to be killed.
I would also like to point out that Chris's character fucking stinks.
Yes.
Yes.
And one side of his face is drooping, but you can't tell that he stinks. You just think that he's wearing way too much cologne.
Right. Now, why do you wear sunglasses?
Because my eyes are yellow.
He got mixed up in the wrong magical crowd and picked up some curses.
Yay.
Over here on this table,
Daniel, I play Emil, Watchman Pistolier. I like to shoot people a lot. And I collect
He's the
guns.
slayer of Baba Yaga.
And I collect guns.
yeah, he does collect guns. How many guns do you have right now?
I think I have 5 now.
That's quite a bit of guns.
It's too many, in fact. But
One Crit, thanks for coming by. You go edit your little heart out.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
fuck yourself,
Joe.
San Diego.
I died last session.
That's right. Joe's character, Brian, died last session.
Yeah, he had this thing where he felt like he had to heal people, no matter if he would also die in the process.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Mechanically,
That's what
he had the disorder deranged hero, and it manifested through his need to try and heal everyone.
Mhm.
And it put him in a very bad situation. Rather than defending himself, he tried to run around healing people.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
I did that, but I also died.
Yeah, you did.
He did throw a bottle bomb, and the only one who got burned was his own corpse.
Yeah.
True that. True that. And then finally,
Oh, hi, I'm Tyler. I play Zachariah. He's a charlatan and smuggler.
I still have smuggler misspelled.
That's fine.
Smuggler.
And I think
Smuggler.
I might have a taste for blood, but we'll find out later.
What is it?
I got sanguine restoration because my mind
yeah.
got fucked up in the middle of the night.
I'm glad you reminded me of that because I forgot. Cool.
So we'll find out.
That works. So, except for Joe, and Joe knows where he's at. I've given Joe
You
a
might be a vampire.
little background update, so he is where he is. The rest of you will say you've already traveled to the King's Castle, following the road signs. You've passed by the road to it quite a few times.
Also, off camera, I picked up some supplies as well.
Yes, you did, with money.
There were lots of it.
So what else? You all arrive at this castle, and you've seen the castle up on the hill before. You approach the outer wall and the gate going through it. And it's this giant, moss-covered, almost dilapidated-looking outer wall with a giant portcullis in it. The portcullis is open, and you all move into the main courtyard. You see the giant spires of the castle. You see the main, like the chapel and everything. The castle, you see it. It's there in front of you. You see stables off to the side. You see a few, probably servants' quarters here and there. A lot of these castles are kind of their own little mini village, kind of surrounded with these tall outer curtain walls with the castle rising from the center. Grazing in the kind of the fenced-off area of the stables, you see the giant horse that you completed the ritual to resurrect.
Yay, ghost horse.
Casually grazing. Maybe looks up, notices you, gives a few snorts, and goes back to consuming.
Doesn't speak goat to us.
Does not speak goat to you.
Darn. I'm all disappointed.
Yeah. And kind of in the center of this courtyard, moving to the castle, there's an old well, but the water's no longer flowing through it. And instead, growing out of it is a
77.
Is that a real person or a...
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I heard the doorbell.
That's probably the pizza, Chris.
Yep. I'm gonna go get pizza.
The pizza. The
Chicken.
pizza.
Because I can't eat pizza.
so probably... Oh, in the center is this well, and instead of water being in it, it now grows this large bush, rose bush with these blue stemmed or blue petaled roses coming out of the center of it. What's going on, guys?
Let's see.
What was the name of that fella who wrote us that letter?
Fucked if I remember.
Damn.
The king guy?
The someone.
The servant guy.
We're gonna say Mr. Zarevich.
Zarevich, that sounds right. It was something Vich, and I was just trying to make sure it wasn't Donovich.
Zarevich.
Good.
It was not Donovich. Donovich was
The pastor who may or may not be chilling out in the bog right now.
okay. Yeah, no.
So-
This was signed as
The one
Mr.
weak enough to kill
Zarevich.
himself?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
no, he just disappeared one day.
I mean, that's true. I mean,
Scenario 2, Coop went to Disney World.
You guys moving up to the... You don't see anyone else moving around inside this, curtain wall in this inner kind of courtyard
Suppose let's move on through.
to the
might
castle.
as well.
Yeah.
We gave the horse the horse gave us a snort, so we're good, I think.
Look how far behind the video.
Jeez.
I'm going to pause it. Because this little computer is a piece of poop.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Don't we usually leave it paused anyways on the... Or do we have it up? I don't know.
Well, we had been using his laptop previously, and it does a little better at this
Yeah, I've got it here, so we
than the
can...
little dinky boy does.
Yeah. That's really bright. That's fine. So, yeah. You all move past this little fountain with the blue roses growing out of it. Chris looks disoriented a little bit. As you all move up to the large double doors to the castle entrance, the doors swing open, and a tall, slender man in a very kind of refined, you would say like butlers, like fancy man suit. The doors swing open, and he steps out, and he introduces him. Greetings, I am Mr. Zarevich, a personal assistant to our liege the king. I am here to greet you and welcome you kindly into our castle. And he steps aside and kind of does the arm wave in, like, please enter the foyer.
I will enter.
Yeah. Might even kick some dirt off my shoes before I go in.
No, he appreciated, kind sir. And he steps in once all of you are in and closes the door. I'm so glad that you all can make it here on such short notice. Dinner will be ready here soon. Allow me to take you to a seating room where you can get comfortable and shake off the cold.
Yes, this is real gases, just like in Star Wars.
Just like in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You enter this seating room, and it's lush chairs here and there, roaring fireplace. And as you enter, he, please have a seat, and he picks up a little bell off the mantle and rings it. And servants come in with, like silver goblets and pitchers of wine and pitchers of water. And he sets it down on the table. Please have yourself a drink. I will see to the final preparations for dinner. I will return shortly. And he steps out of the room along with the other servants.
Nice.
Anything you guys are wanting to do now that you have a moment to yourselves?
Probably look around the room.
Yeah.
I'll be Snoopy.
I'll pour some water in a wine glass and swish it around like I'm really important, then take a sip and say, water.
There's it's a really well decorated room.
You feel funny after that water, or does it seem like normal water?
Of all the water I've had, this is certainly some.
Yeah. There's tapestries on the wall. Some of them show familiar sights that you've seen while traveling through the country. There's a big painting of the castle itself. If you are anything else you want to do, if not, I want to fast forward an hour or two.
That's fine.
Oh, are there any books here?
Yeah, there's some basic. There's a bookshelf, and there are some reading. You see, some literature works you may or may not recognize. Can you even read?
No.
You see, there's definitely books, and there's some very fancy, well-crafted books.
I'm going to look for a book that has 2 small words on it, like on the spine.
Roll me a perception.
That would be awareness?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That would be 29 above or below 35.
Yeah, you find one.
Okay. I'm going to pull out a book and I'm going to say, Francis, what do these 2 small words say?
What do they say?
They say about turnips.
That's about turnips.
About
Turnips.
turnips. Like,
Mm-hmm.
about turnips.
Gotta save that one for later and pull it out when you get impressing people.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Well, apparently I'm looking for something about turnips.
Well, I'd say you found it.
Yes.
So, about an hour later, during this time, maybe a servant here or there will come in and replace the water or the wine pitcher. Is anyone drinking heavily of the wine?
Oh yeah. Just downing it,
Go ahead and take a corruption.
quaffing it.
Then go ahead and roll me a easy toughness check.
Good luck.
Toughness. That is under brawn. Okay, they hit my shirt. Easy, you said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Nice.
So about an hour later, the meal is prepared. If you will follow me, I'll escort you to the dining room. We will be dining together, and we have another guest who will be joining us as well.
Excellent. Could you fetch me a sheaf of parchment and a quill and some ink?
Yes, of course. And he goes to the bell on the mantle and he rings it, and a servant comes in and he relays your request. And they'll bring it to us in the dining hall.
Very well, thank you, and I'll hand him a brass piece.
Okay. He takes it and he drops it into his shirt pocket.
Show off
And
your writing.
Yes.
he gives you a warm nod and escorts you all to the dining hall. You get a feeling, Mr. Zarevich, he's very prim, very proper, he walks very upright, very kind of strong posture, very deliberate yet quick movements. But you all arrive in the dining hall. It's a large hall, windows kind of overlooking the cliff that you can see out, and a little bit of light filters in from there. 2 or 3 large fireplaces burn, kind of giving a soft glow to everything, keeping it warm. Food's already been laid out on the table. But then also you see as Mr. Zarevich enters, there's already someone seated at the table and they kind of half stand. And Joe, what does this person look like?
He is about 6 foot, 240 pounds, husky build, with ginger hair and gray blue eyes. And he would introduce himself as Pierre Linguini.
Of course he does.
Nice.
So,
Of course he does.
as he enters,
Tell me, is
Mr.
linguini spelled with a B by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Zarevich, our other guest. May I kindly introduce to you all to Mr. Pierre Linguini. And then
You notice when he introduces himself is that he does not have a French accent.
Pierre Linguini.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Mr. Zarevich comes over and he gives you each introduction and be like, please, sit where you will. And he'll wait for you all. And this is a long table, easily seat like 50 people. And there's just we'll presume Alex is here. The 6 of you plus Mr. Zarevich. So 7 altogether. So He sets maybe a chair or two away from Pierre.
I'll reach a hand out to Pierre to shake it.
All right. Reaches out and shakes it as well.
Jan
wearing-
Nakingaroost.
One glove also, you'll notice.
Just the one.
Like Michael.
Does he shake his hands with the
Like
glove
Michael.
hand or the non-glove hand?
The glove hand.
Oh.
I'm Pierre.
Jan.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. Let's be seated.
So as...
I'm going to write about turnips over and over again.
Okay. Yeah, once you get seated, a servant comes out and hands you the items you requested. And Mr. Zarevich is like, sadly, the king is not well enough to be joining us for dinner. After we have eaten, I will take you for a private audience with the king. And Joe, while Pierre has been here, Pierre hasn't seen or heard or, anything of the king. Your main interaction is Mr. Zarevich and the handful of servants that
Not even a
have
fart.
talked to you.
Mhm.
Let's see, Mr. Zarevich. You've all really shown yourselves as people of great resourcefulness, and I must thank you for that on my own behalf and that of the king. The work that you have done thus far is already making a resounding difference on the constitution of the king, restoring him to his strength. As you may or may not know, the king's wellness is tied to these lands, and what you've done is a great deed to these lands so far. I would imagine you all might have questions, and I would be more than willing to answer any questions that I can, and those that I can't, you can ask the king when you have your audience with him later. As servants come around and start taking the food from the center of the table and like loading each one of your plates up for you.
Nice.
Everything you could possibly imagine. All sorts of different meats, pig, cow, fucking birds of different flavors.
Gotta have one of everything.
All sorts of
absolutely.
different vegetables.
Maximize our meat portfolio.
Breads, gravies.
Turnips?
Turnips.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh boy, you know
Look
about
at that
those.
sucker while I write about
a
turnips.
lovely, little vinegary, little sweet turnip salad with like some other pickled vegetables in it. So
Gaze upon it fondly as you write
I
about
never learned
turnips.
how to write.
Exactly.
I wish I did.
yeah. Do you all have any questions for Mr. Zarevich?
As I don't even look up from my paper as I ask, so is the king a servant of Satan by any chance?
No,
Good.
not in the least, my kind
As
sir.
you're just casually writing about turnips.
Yes.
So, I guess the real question is it coming out looking like about turnips, or is it coming out like my daughter writing?
Yes.
Why don't you give me an education test?
Oh boy.
Are you trained in education?
God no, that's why I can't read.
It will be flipped to fail.
Yes. Okay. That is a fail.
Just regular fail.
Regular fail.
It's very. If you squint really hard, you can tell that it is attempting to say about turnips.
Excellent.
There you go. That's all you can ask for.
Yes. The first step to a bold new world.
Yeah.
A brighter turnip future.
Yeah. So
I'm curious if he knows how we got here.
yes. Do I know the specifics? No. But over my time serving the king here, I've seen many travelers come to this land. The land kind of has a will of its own, its own kind of life force intelligence to it. And occasionally it will find people of note that it thinks can help bring peace to the land, help restore the power and glory to the king. And the land of its own vocation will bring these individuals here, and then also, while they're here, provide assistance as it can. So that is my belief on how all of you have arrived.
Dang, I forgot to assist us somewhere along the way.
It has assisted you.
Okay.
You remember Mr. Clean and Red?
Mm-hmm.
Very specifically, they said the land sent me here.
Ah, okay. I guess I forgot that.
So,
And the lady with the food in the fog.
yeah.
No idea what her deal was either. It's hard to associate people.
Yeah.
So to mythical powers.
Yeah. So, he would kind of read. Now, all of you have had similar entrances to the land. Now, what is your name again?
Pierre.
Pierre.
Linguini.
I'm going to write that down because it's going to take me a while to remember Pierre.
Mr. Linguini.
Yep.
I'll remember Linguini. Just Pierre is going to take a little bit. He's like, now, Pierre, you have told me your story. And you all might have similar. Traveler escorted you through the fogs in the wood, eventually taking you here before disappearing, leaving you stranded in these lands.
More or less, yeah.
If any of you would care to elaborate on your story for Pierre, or Pierre, if you would care to elaborate on your story for them, I find that you might have quite a bit in common.
We got in the wagon and we all passed out, and then we woke up here. So, yeah.
Oh, don't forget about the Hooded Man Inn with all the
Monsters.
the cowboys,
Oh.
the goat people, the horse lads.
Yeah. That was some weird shit that happened first, yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to what I encountered. I found a man named Sergey and...
Same guy, in fact. That bastard.
Ah.
I've never met this Sergey, but I've met many of people who have.
That was going to be one of my questions, but...
Do you have any cakes that aren't made of human bones?
Absolutely.
Could I have one, please?
And he points to a tray of sweets. In fact, none of the food we have here is made of human.
Good to know.
Cannibalism is generally frowned upon, but I know you have come across such here in these lands. And it also is my understanding that thanks to you, that is no longer a thing.
Well, we sure hope so.
Is that a question I'll have to be asking as we eat another places?
Generally speaking, no.
Well, the only other place that question would have really applied is now full of The Walking Dead.
I am not familiar
They're
with
called
these events.
zombies.
They would be the ones who can enlighten
How do
you.
you spell zombies?
Z.
What does a Z look like?
How about you write it out
It's
for
like
me?
a backwards S, but more angular.
Ah, what's an S look like?
Here, I'll show you.
Thank you.
I'll show him how to write zombie.
I will practice writing about zombie turnips.
But yes,
Nice. Leveled up.
Yeah.
if that is more information you wish, I am not familiar with all the details, but I'm sure these kind lads would be more than willing to fill you in. So if you guys want to fill in Joe's new character, you can.
Yeah. All about the Baba Yagas.
Hand
And
wave it.
Yeah, we can just hand wave.
Yeah.
That you get an up to speed rundown of all the adventures so far, and you
Okay.
can kind of give them a background with as much background as you want to share.
Including sacrificing an intelligent goat for a horse that snorts.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was a downwards trade, actually.
I have met this goat before.
I honestly think that we lost on that
He's-
trade.
Oh, he's dead now.
Yes, I'm familiar with the ritual that was required to return the horse. The goat was a terrifying entity, but he kind of grew on you after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was awkwardly endearing. Till the day he died.
He also
Horrifically.
bled on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till the day he was murdered.
I'll
For a
always,
horse that doesn't talk at all.
Yeah.
I'll always remember his threats to eat my legs.
Yeah, that's fair. So, Next up, you all get plenty of food, sit back, have a few relaxing drinks, and he will cover that, the main reason why the king has brought you here is primarily to thank you for the work that you've done, but then also to ask, impart a rather large request.
I assume there's more work to be done.
There's certainly more work to be done. To really restore the king, the next step is going to be retrieving his sword from the druids that live to the south of the village Kresk.
Ooh.
I believe you've been working with a man named Leo.
Yes.
That is accurate.
Yes, Mr. Greyfire. I have spoken with him before. He was brought to these lands by another servant of the king, who's referred to as the Wizard of the Hills. He was the king's personal magician for a long while.
So this one is actually a wizard.
Yes, he is. Of great skill and renown. But he summoned Leo here to these lands. No small feat of magic, but there is a stipulation to magic such as that. When someone is brought here, such as Leo was, they are given a very defined task to complete. And once that task is complete, the magic dispels and the person is returned home. Leo's job is to defeat Baba Yaga, which you all greatly assisted him with. The next one is also returning the sword, which I would hope you all will assist him with as well. As soon as the sword is freed, the spell holding Leo here will leave, and Leo will be instantly returned home.
And we
Tyler, come on.
See you,
I know,
Tyler.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I didn't sleep great last night.
You need to butt chug a beer.
I don't know if that would help.
Or take a shot.
Ooh. I don't know if that would help either.
you should take a shot and then wash it down with some 0-calorie zing.
Ooh, Zing 0 calorie.
Oh my.
Is that diet Zing?
Such flavor.
Yes.
Exclamation point.
So
Pass this around.
he says that
Passing it down.
so after
Thank
the
you,
sword
sir.
has been returned, there will be more tasks that we will need you to complete. And we can relay the details then. It's nothing beyond what I think you're capable of, and I would hope it's nothing more dangerous than what you've already faced here.
But we will, in recovering this sword, help to save the souls of this land.
Absolutely.
I accept.
Very well.
Dumb question. When we're done with all the things, do we go home also? Or
Yeah.
we...
So, essentially what we have left is once the sword is returned to the king, his strength should finally return to him. Then the king should have the ability to start removing some of the barriers separating our land from the world at large. And he would be hoping that he could send you out into the world at large to complete the final tasks to finally bring our kingdom back essentially to reality, allowing us all to escape.
Would this allow all of the denizens of this land to roam
Be
freely
free? Yes.
in our world?
Absolutely.
Doing the bad things.
We're hoping that once the barriers and the seals that hold us here, that the evil will be dispersed.
That's a lot of
You've
hope.
already slain Baba Yaga, who was responsible for a lot of what was happening here. You've already made this land much safer in that. The druids are responsible for the creation of the beastmen that hunt the forests south of Kresk.
I knew it.
With the druids defeated,
Bringing into their Druish deeds.
It should be.
I should point out that before we came here, a few of those monstrous creatures were in our world.
That I have no explanation of that. I have no influence or knowledge about the going on of the world outside of this kingdom.
They were assholes too.
They were major league assholes. You've got screaming bird people who can explode mines. You've got a dog knight with lots of dogs.
Minotaur Man.
Minotaur Man is scary as fuck. Minotaur Man is how I lost my first fate point, so.
Yeah, and then there's like a spider person, I think.
I think there was a spider person.
That's how I lost my first fate point.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's what we're hoping for.
Mm.
And we're more than willing to reward you for your hard work.
Another question. Are the druids aware that they have this sword?
Yes, it's where they draw a lot of their power from.
Mm.
And these druids, do they worship Satan?
They worship no good entity that wishes wellness or peace upon their fellow mankind.
Druish Satan?
What they worship is not of God.
Okay. Oh, I tried to give you an out there.
Do we just need to steal the sword back, or do we also need to kill the druids?
Ideally, just stealing the sword back will remove much of their power, but I have a feeling that the act of trying to get the sword will draw conflict, and that the two tasks will be one and the same.
We shall see.
Very well.
Is there anything we need to know about this sword? Is it bad if we wield it?
No, shouldn't.
It's gonna shock me if I lick it or something.
No.
If I touch it, will it make me evil?
No.
Does the sword worship Satan?
I don't.
If I
I
say
don't
bippity
think-
boppity boo and swing it around in circles, can
How
I
much-
summon a
How many
pumpkin?
handbags does this sword have?
The sword has no handbags.
How much does it know about turnips?
I would imagine the sword knows nothing about turnips. But the sword should be perfectly safe for all you all to touch. Wield if you want before returning it to the king.
How will we know it's the sword?
They're druids. They don't really use metal weaponry, so
That's
it should be the only sword. But also, I don't believe this is actually a sword that they wield. There's a special tree on the hill that they worship on called a Gulthias tree. And the sword, as far as what I know, is in the tree in some manner.
So I have to burn the tree down?
I do not have this answer for you. This is just
That's how I know get rid of trees.
hearsay. So
Burn them.
I would imagine that when you see it, whatever solution is required will come to you.
Fire.
Fire may be the answer.
Burn the whole forest down.
Fire
Is that
is a
right if we burn
good
the whole forest
answer.
down?
I would prefer not.
Okay. All
But
right.
what if it was an accident? I swear.
Accidents happen, but that sounds like an insincere statement.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So we need to. Okay. So we need to meet up with Leo and get the sword back,
Yeah.
and then come back here for more details.
Yeah. Bring the sword back here. Leo will be unable to complete this task. Because as soon as he frees the sword, he'll be sent
Oh,
back.
he'll be sent. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that seems like a miss.
So maybe. Okay.
These things are very specific.
Somebody worded that one poorly.
It very well could be. I do not possess the magic or the knowledge on how that works. So I do not know. If you all are ready, I can take you to your audience with the king.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He escorts you up, and this is Joe. He's taken Pierre here. This is a portion of the castle you've never been into. You've kind of been restricted to your guest quarter, which aren't too far from the room that you're in now. Kind of the seating area. There's a small library. Generally, you haven't been given a lot of access to the castle.
Okay.
But this would be an area you have not been yet. He takes you to a spiral staircase that leads up one of the spires. And maybe after like 10, 15 minutes of walking up this horrible spiral staircase. Eventually, it opens into a large chamber.
That's probably why the king doesn't get around very much.
Could be.
And
And this,
chairlift installed for him.
yeah, this chamber has pretty good views of the country around there. You can tell you're pretty high up in the castle at this point. But Mr. Zarevich opens the door and he, please enter. Ring the bell on the mantle when you are done, and we'll retrieve you. And he closes the door behind you and leaves. In the room, it's warm, really warm, dimly lit. There's a big fireplace in the corner. And it's just a going, and that's where most of the light and the warmth comes from. It's decorated with heavy velvet curtains and tapestries and rugs. Kind of in the center of the room is a giant four-posted like canopy type bed. And lying in it, you can tell there's a frail man lying in there. Next to the bed is a small end table with like a silver pitcher and a silver goblet next to it. But on the wall of the room opposite of the fireplace is a rather large table. And on this table you see there's a small chest. There's a rather bulky looking leather roll. And then there's also a bundle of cloth, looks like leather and quilted cloth kind of tied up in a fairly large bundle. But as the door closes and you kind of take this all in, you can see a frail hand kind of rise up from the bed and kind of gives a weak motion for you all to come over.
Alrighty.
Let's step towards it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, he said let's go on up.
Oh, okay.
I'll walk straight up to the bed.
You can see it's a impossibly old-looking man. Bald head, but giant scraggly beard. Very, very thin and pale. His skin kind of just hangs off of him in loose wrinkles.
He's gonna need more than a hover round.
Yeah, he's got
This guy needs life alert.
kind of milky white eyes.
Ooh.
As you move up, he whispers, come closer. And he kind of starts to cough a little bit.
He's gotta hit us with a bunch of air horns when we get real close.
Bam, bam, bam!
MLG King.
He,
The Mountain Dew are gonna rain down on us.
Oh no.
he'll as you all kind of move closer, he's like, I wanted to, and he starts like hacking really hard. It sounds kind of, some of the hacks come through as wet, some of them kind of come through as dry. And he kind of real loosely like waves his hand at the pitcher.
I will
touch it. Or-
check him to get to the pitcher first.
Yeah, go in for it and just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, my liege, as I pour him some water.
You pour him some water, and he has it, and he's trying to set up. You can tell it's a real effort for him to even set up.
I will prop him up so as to feed him some water.
He downs the entire glass.
I guess Pumpkin King should be the guy doing it. So.
He's like, thank you again, my friends. I am the king. They call me Chernobog, but my true name I have lost to the ages.
Tim?
It might be Tim. You all have done me such a great... And he starts kind of hacking and choking again, and he kind of holds the glass up.
I'll pass the glass off to Pierre.
yeah, and I'll fill it and pass it back over to him.
Okay.
Feed him the water.
He downs the water again, like, they keep it so warm in here.
Need to get him a humidifier.
I trust Mr. Zarevich has updated you on the tasks that I requested you to complete.
The sword, yeah.
Yes, my sword. It has been long since I've had its hilt in my hand. I feel that it will truly bring me the strength I need to start setting things right. Already, with my horse in slaying of Baba Yaga, so much of my strength has started to come back.
Has it?
Wouldn't want to have met you before this.
I was
Say that under my breath.
little more than a corpse still possessed by a short breath.
I've been a skeleton myself, sir.
Twice.
Twice.
That's true. I've seen it.
I would like to kindly offer you a reward for the work that you've done so far. And he points a frail finger to the table on the far side of the room. All that sits on the table is yours. Please.
Sir, I would never think of taking a reward for an action to secure your
Well-being.
well-being.
I say
Such
I would. And I go toward the table.
that's it's like such chivalry. Then think of it not as a reward, but as a gift of tools to assist you in the trials ahead.
Yes, to save this land.
Yes. Who's all checking out when he's presented?
Absolutely.
I'll probably
Yeah,
wait till we're done talking.
I was the
but
first one there.
Well, those of you that go over,
As soon as that finger came up, Francis was like, well.
there's
I was waiting for this.
the large leather roll bundle, I guess. There's the bundle of cloths, and there's the chest. Which one are you guys checking out first?
Chest.
You open the chest, and it's stuffed full of gold.
oh, good.
Oh.
For your personal calculations, it contains 300 gold.
Shoo-wee.
Oh, boy.
I'm taking the cloths.
That's some dang
We
gold.
could
The
put
bundle
that in
or
with
the
our other
leather
pile of
roll?
gold.
The bundle.
You take the bundle and you undo the sash holding it, and you see it's a set of very nice looking leather armor. And there's 6 sets. And they're all got kind of quilted bits here and there, leather bits. So it's leather armor, but it is Maker's Mark leather armor.
Oh. So we get drunk
so-
while we wear it?
I think so.
The encumbrance
seal.
on Maker's Mark armor, it reduces the encumbrance by 2. It's the same stats
I assume down to a minimum of 1,
to a minimum of 1.
because I imagine Maker's Mark leather armor then would weigh 0.
Okay, so yeah, Maker's Mark leather armor, instead of weighing 2, it weighs 1 encumbrance. But it's got the crest of the king on the breast, and it's just pretty nice looking leather armor.
That's a plus 2 damage threshold.
Yeah, plus 2 your damage threshold. What kind of armor did Pierre have?
Leather.
Okay, so this would just be nicer looking leather
Yeah.
armor.
And less encumbrance.
I imagine his was
Yeah.
in pretty crappy state.
Yeah, and less encumbrance. So if you guys are tracking encumbrance, it would help out with that a little bit.
Yes, indeed. I've got the Brigandine armor myself.
Yeah. What does that give? A plus
Plus
3?
3.
Okay.
May have to consider swapping it out, though.
Yeah. And then finally, you undo the belt on this giant leather bundle, and you unroll it. And it's stuff full of weapons.
Oh, boy.
In there, you find 6 Maker's Mark stilettos.
Anything that shoots is mine.
Nothing that shoots. 3 Maker's Mark rapiers.
Oh, hell yeah.
And 3 Maker's Mark mortuary swords.
Ooh. I use a stiletto and a mortuary sword already.
So, and what makes Maker's Mark special is it can't be shattered or whatever it is, and it also gets sundered, and it also gets a plus 5 base chance to strike.
Ooh. Nice.
So the rapiers are simple melee, and the mortuary swords are martial melee.
Stilettos are also simple
melee.
I grab
There's enough.
stiletto and rapier.
Yeah, there's enough
they
for us
have,
each to take a stiletto, right?
They have hilts with them.
Yeah, you said there's 6
What do you mean?
stilettos.
Like, is it just the sword, or does it have or a sheath? I mean,
A scabbard.
Yeah.
I'll say they have scabbards. The swords, yeah, all of them have scabbards. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that 5% is great, Janoff. So, everyone, who's taking a mortuary sword? That's the question. Those are the martial.
That's the martial melee.
Yeah,
Yep, I can hit that.
I think
because you can do both.
I only have martial range.
Okay.
I have simple. Actually, I have only
So
ranged skills.
I guess the question is, who's taking a rapier?
That would probably be me.
I just use a stiletto and a...
Do you have martial melee?
No, I don't even have martial.
Do you have martial melee?
No, but I can.
Oh, I can. I
Okay.
can.
No, I got
So,
simple ranged.
On the sake of future planning, I can take a mortuary sword
Okay.
and a stiletto.
Because I think I looked at everyone's professions, and there was enough.
Should
Three
be
of
a
you had
match.
martial.
Oh, I
melee.
wonder if Alex does too then.
Could be. I don't remember what his is.
Brawler, maybe?
Mm.
His
I don't
second
know.
level one might get a martial
I don't
melee.
remember what his second is.
He's a juggler,
A juggler?
I think.
A
Or jester.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those are the tools you get, the gold you get, the armor you get.
Sweet.
The king, after you guys kind of get suited up, he beckons you back to him. And he's, I trust the gifts will be, and he starts hacking and coughing again real hard, and he waves his hand back at the pitcher.
Oh, I'm going to pour him another one.
All right, he downs it. I trust the tools that I've provided satisfactory.
Yes.
Hopefully they will make your future's endeavor less difficult. I would kindly invite you all to be guests in my castle. For you for one more night, for the rest of you for the night. Have one restful night's sleep before returning to the world at large to finish your tasks.
That sounds ideal to me.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just want to divvy up that 300 gold and say 50 each.
Or just
Might as well.
add it to the crowd funds.
Or we can add it to our pile of 300 other gold.
I'm fine with divvying up.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter either way.
I'll just put a 5 in front of this number in my gold number.
That's 0?
It was 7, actually.
I'll change this 4 to a 9.
All right. You all are free to ask the king any questions.
Why are you like this? Why is the world like this? What the hell happened?
Why am I like this? My life force and wellness is tied to this land.
How did that happen?
I was betrayed by allies, friends, and family long ago who used me as a sacrifice of sorts. And in the process banished me and sealed me away in these lands. Once that was done, they realized essentially what they made was a prison. And so other things that they came across that they didn't want to deal with, they sent here as well. And that's how I ended up the way I am. These creatures took the power of the land and perverted it, stealing my strength. I am hoping, I'm stronger with my horse. I'm stronger with Baba Yaga slain. And with my sword, I finally should reach a passable level of strength. And with that, I hope that we all can work together to break the seals separating my lands. Finally returning my people to peace and freeing all of you. And either allowing me to return to my former state and rule again, or at least allowing me to pass on. I have been here for countless ages, stranded in this land.
So when we put this land back in the real world, are you going to like raise holy hell there? Or is it going to just be all nice and calm?
I have no intention of raising holy hell. All I want is peace and prosperity.
Okay. I'll take his word.
Well, if he's been here as long as he says he has, there wouldn't be anyone to raise hell against.
Can I do a scrutinize on the betrayed part? See
Absolutely.
whether or not he deserved that?
Absolutely.
Stealing.
Oh, yeah. Get some dice.
$32.
Will that do the deal?
So what exactly are you trying to scrutinize here? He said he was betrayed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to see. Like,
Why don't this? Did you pass or fail?
Suss out if he was betrayed or righteously got his
So
ass
why
kicked.
don't you ask a leading question with that about his betrayal? And we're going to call that scrutinize. You're going to be able to figure out if he's telling the truth here or if he's being deceitful. So what's your leading question on this? What question do you think you could ask that would tell? Did he deserve this betrayal? Was it a betrayal? Did, what the fuck?
Like,
Yeah, what's the-
what would lead your own family to betray you in that way? Or,
He'll answer, I, in my own right, am a great and powerful sorcerer. And whether it was jealousy of my power, fear of my power, or the fact that I often, with great knowledge, can see things moving that others can't. Actions I take would seem unprovoked or extreme, but I was just reacting to the true machinations and threats that exist in the world. And with that, you would definitely feel that was a truthful answer. At least to him, there was no, you don't pick up any deceit or hesitation from him. Do you have any other follow-up questions on that?
so he feels even if you deserved it, he was betrayed. Like,
Yeah. He was betrayed. And he doesn't deny that, maybe the people that betrayed him felt that it was the right thing to do.
yeah.
But does that answer?
Yeah.
I'll let you pass. So if you want to ask another question on that, I'll let you.
Was there sort of a tipping point on this?
Yes, there was. I claimed a bride that she was less than enthusiastic and her father was not at all. But I knew that by claiming this bride, her name, shit.
That's a great name for a bride.
Hang on, I've got the name. I want to give you the right
Was
name.
her name Baba Yaga?
First
by
name
any chance?
last name shit.
Shit.
Shit. Chernabog,
Oh,
queen
no.
of this land.
Thank God we take the husband's last name.
Yeah.
Was her dad's
King
name Holy
shit.
Shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a deacon.
Holy Shit.
More Princess Maria Moravana was to be my bride. I could see that by marrying her, I could tie my kingdom to allies that she had. And essentially, in a generation or two, could bring peace to a region of my kingdom that had yet not known it. But this was, making plans beyond our lifetimes. And they did not understand. They just thought I was claiming a bride for my own selfish reasons. And that was not the case. I wish I could have explained it better, but at the time I just saw threats and need to act, and so I did so, perhaps recklessly, perhaps foolishly, but the greater good is what I was trying to serve.
You're heading for true north without the ability to explain it to everybody else.
That is a great way to put that.
I hope you've had a lot of time to think about perhaps more
I
better ways of presenting
absolutely
these ideas.
have.
Because I'm just, hesitant.
Old age has tempered my hand, and extreme age has granted me wisdom I wish I would have had before.
I'll trust you on that one then.
Very well.
How old are you?
I've lost track. When you stop counting the years and start counting the decades, and stop counting the decades and start counting the centuries, and then stop counting the centuries, and
Stop
it all
counting,
becomes
basically.
lost.
So if we get you back to the real world, will you just immediately die of old age?
I do not know. That is a strong possibility. But to return the people who are imprisoned here with me, although they've long since died, their descendants and great descendants, they still deserve to live in a land of peace, free from the darkness that dwells here.
That sounds fair.
Do you have any plan for
Like the
what
way you
happens
think.
if you die?
Mr. Zarevich, he is aware of all my affairs. If I were not to make it, I have instructed him to find whatever kingdoms or rulerships nearby, and find the most peaceful one and work for a peaceful transition of my lands into theirs. I have no bloodline descendants, I have no heir, and I do not wish for one.
Well,
All right.
I was wondering if you had a plan for what you're going to do if you don't die, because it's likely if you've been here long enough to stop keeping track of centuries that the kingdom you ruled over is one that nobody even remembers anymore.
That is most likely the possibility. If I do survive this, I will intend to do what I can to ensure peace for my people and ensure that there's no conflict with any neighbors. And I will take it as I go, so to say.
excuse me.
Cartographers will have a hell of a time adjusting.
I would imagine so. I do not know how this will affect. Is there still a spot for my land, or did that spot vanish? If that spot
they'll just put you
vanished,
in the ocean.
what's that?
They'll just put you in the ocean. You'll be a new island.
We might have a strong fishing economy then.
Suck it, Roman Catholic
What
Church.
a nice attitude to have about it.
To my knowledge, this
Suck it,
place
Vatican
didn't
City.
exist.
Right.
I was lost going through places that I'd been before, and
That very well could be.
Yeah, I guess
Seems like it's a
I'd be curious if there was any rumors in our
Is that
time of
geological oddity?
lost lands.
Roll me a folklore.
Uh,
I was thinking
Use the
Atlantis.
same one. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. But folklore. Where are
Did you get on the
you?
wrong subway one day? Is that what happened to you? 'Cause that's what happened to me.
Intelligence.
Yeah, pretty
jeez.
Oh no.
Hold on.
So yeah, Joe was walking through a forest in France.
Oh.
Nope.
walking, definitely not retreating.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely not bravely running away.
So yeah, you've heard of a mysterious land called Atlantis that vanished.
Did your land ever be underwater?
I am quite certain not. I am no longer capable of swimming. Not that I was ever the strongest swimmer. I was always more bookish than anything else.
Well, shoot.
If we pull your covers off, do you have a tail under there?
I do not have a tail, but when you get as old as I am, the elasticity in skin does not stay as it was.
Uh-huh.
And I
Likely story.
quite amusingly so have an incredibly long scrotum.
Oh no.
I'll begin lowering him back onto his pillow at this point.
Last I had the strength to stand, I kid you not, it bruised both of my knees.
Good luck. Next time you can stand.
Oh no.
Like
we
a
should
wheel
get out
on
of
it.
here.
It's got its own little golf caddy that he walks in front of him.
Ah,
It's like one of those retractable name tag things.
Yeah.
We're gonna get him a little sling for his
Uh,
jewels.
if there is
Zarevich's day job is a nightmare.
If there is nothing else I am growing weary and would much like to rest again.
Another glass of water, sir.
I am. My thirst is quenched for now. I thank you.
We'll tell him to bring in a
Kindly.
big kettle of water here to put it in front of the fire. It might help.
Ah, I do not like drinking horribly hot water.
No, it's humidity.
Ah, for the steam.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a horrible idea. I will consider it. Thank you kindly. And he would say there should be a bell upon the mantle. If you ring it, Mr. Zarevich will return. Please stay the night as my guest before returning out.
Probably the fanciest bed we'll see in our entire lives.
Ooh, yeah.
It probably is. Joe, you could vouch for it. It's a super fucking
It's
fancy
not bad.
bed.
Room service is pretty good too.
I got pizza.
So we're at
Continental breakfast.
we're at a point where we can move to the first break for the night.
Yep.
We're gonna pick up the next morning breakfast, and then you guys setting out about whatever you feel is appropriate for the next task.
I need to get some more pyre shot made.
Probably. Do you still have Witchstone?
I do.
Okay. You should
It
probably.
depends on you can make
It's on a
it.
power shot because I learned from our
Doesn't consume it.
game. Yeah,
Doesn't
whenever
consume a
you
witch stone.
critically succeed.
Oh, it doesn't consume.
Yeah.
Cool.
I need somebody.
So I
to
Oh, at
could've-
least in creating it.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have made an
Yeah.
infinite quantity.
an
Yeah.
infinite
Because you only
quantity.
made the first couple
Because I
times.
always critically succeeded.
Yeah. Well, good thing Brian's dead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I could have had all my ammo being pyre shot.
Yeah.
Except that
So
would have taken a long time
that's where we're going to wrap up for the night. Actually, fun fact
for the session.
on YouTube. Oh, yeah, for the session. Twitch people, we're coming back. We got 3 more sessions in us for the night. But fun
Maybe.
fact this episode that we just recorded is number 50 for YouTube.
Oh boy.
So that's our 50th YouTube episode. So very exciting.
We should celebrate with some Grey Goose.
That we didn't even get to the shots. I don't really think only a handful of rolls were made.
Yeah, they weren't very important.
I'll have to definitely throw some fucking combat at you guys to force some shots to be taken after this.
Mhm.
You'll
So
train with the guards, but they're planning to kill you.
yeah.
Yay!
So Twitch people, hang
Don't kill
out
them,
for a
though.
few minutes. We're gonna put some pizza on our faces, and we'll be right back. YouTube podcast people, we'll have another episode out in a couple of days. So thanks for enjoying, and until we see you next time, start fires, do drugs, tip those fucking bartenders. Deuces.